Start with testicles. Men who sleep 5 hours a night have significantly smaller testicles than those who sleep 7 hours or more. This is the best news that I have for you today.
잠을 충분히 자지 않으면 다양한 문제가 생기죠. 기억 능력을 포함해서 뇌 기능, 호르몬 분비에도 안 좋은 영향을 미치게 됩니다.
And without sleep, the memory circuits of the brain essentially become waterlogged, as it were, and you can't absorb new memories.
지금은 어느 때보다도 빠르게 정보를 선별하고 캐치해야 살아남을 수 있는 시대인데 잠이 부족해서 뇌 기능이 저하되면 손실을 피하기 어렵습니다.
You look at this structure in those people who'd had a full night of sleep, we saw lots of healthy learning-related activity. Yet in those people who were sleep-deprived, we actually couldn't find any significant signal whatsoever.
모두가 더 나은 결과를 위해 7시간에서 9시간의 시간을 다 잘 수 있는 건 아닙니다. 특히 한국에서는 현실적이지 않습니다. 잠잘 시간을 줄여가면서 또 잠을 못 자가면서 일하는 사람들, 공부하는 분들이 더 많기 때문입니다.
Sleep is not like the bank. You can't accumulate a debt and then hope to pay it off at a later point in time. I should also note the reason that it's so catastrophic that our health deteriorates so quickly. Human beings are the only species that deliberately deprive themselves of sleep for no apparent reason.
I fundamentally disagree respectfully though, with the idea that we can't recover sleep that we've lost. Because what are we really talking about there? For me, it's the ability to perform these duration path outcome analyses. So in my lab, we have people do a cognitive task, and then we place them into these very deep states of relaxation through things that are kind of like yoga nidra.
수면 시간을 확보하기 위해서 제때 잠을 자려고 해도 잠에 들지 못하는 경우도 있는데요.
Everyone now knows, thanks to Matt Walker's book and others, like sleep more, sleep better. But what if you have trouble sleeping? Well, or falling asleep? We live in a stressed society. Some people are stressed because they're overwhelmed, but other people are stressed because they just don't know how to turn off their brain and fall asleep.
이런 경우에는 어쩔 수 없이 수면 부족이 됩니다. 잠을 몇 시간 더 자는 것보다 중요한 건 내가 자야 할 때 잘 수 있고 깨어야 할 때 깨어서 집중할 수 있는 컨트롤 능력입니다.
Some people have a hard time turning off their thoughts. It's really hard. Remember, you can't do it. What you can do is to learn to control that perceptual window and distribute it so that your sense of time starts to kind of drift off and you end up in sleep more easily.
However, if you've ever pulled an all-nighter, you'll notice something interesting. As morning rolls around, you'll suddenly feel an increase in your energy and alertness again, even though adenosine has been building up for the entire night. Why is that? The reason that is because there's a second force which is governing when you sleep and when you're awake. And that force is a so-called circadian force. Circadian means about a day or about 24 hours. And inside all of us is a clock that exists in your brain and my brain and the brain of every animal that we're aware of that determines when we want to be sleepy and when we want to be awake.
누구나 성공에 도전할 수 있지만 모두가 해낼 수 있는 것은 아닙니다. 성공이 목표가 되면 해야 할 일, 해결해야 할 일이 무척 많아지는데요. 실제로 여러 사람과 함께 일하든지 10명 역할을 혼자서 할 수 있는 역량을 갖춰야 합니다. 비결은 빛에 있습니다.
Certainly, you do not want to get bright light exposure to your eyes between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. And light that arrives to the eyes between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. approximately suppresses the release of dopamine, makes us feel good as sort of an antidepressant, and can inhibit learning and create all sorts of other detrimental effects. That involves light to the eyes that's then signaled to a structure called the habenula. The habenula looks like two little bat ears sitting right in the middle of your structure in your brain called the thalamus. It's actually called the disappointment nucleus because it actually makes us feel less happy and more disappointed and can lead to certain forms of depression in the wakeful state. Now, if you wake up in the middle of the night and you need to use the bathroom or you're on an all-night flight or whatever it is, fine. Every once in a while, it's not going to be a problem to get bright light exposure to your eyes in the middle of the night. But if you think about our lifestyle nowadays and being up late looking at phones, even if you dim that screen, you're triggering this activation because your retinal sensitivity and the sensitivity of these neurons has gone up late in the day. For those of you that are experiencing challenges with mood, those of you that have anxiety, learning problems, issues focusing, the questions I usually get are, how can I focus better? One of the best ways you can support your mechanisms for good mood, mental health, learning, focus, metabolism, etc., is to take control of this light exposure behavior at night and not get much or any bright light exposure in the middle of the night. Red light won't trigger this pathway.
북미 지역에 처음 가서 생활해보면 한국에 비해 집안의 불빛이 어둡고 불편하다는 느낌을 받습니다. 거실에서 TV를 볼 때도 천장에 등이 없어서 소파 양 옆에 작은 테이블 위에 놓여진 가시 달린 등을 켜야 할 때가 있죠. 그런데 여기에 비밀이 있습니다.
And that brings me to an important point, which is about the location of light. This hasn't been discussed much out there, I don't think. These cells in our eye reside mostly in the bottom half of our retina. And because we have a lens in front of our retina, and because of the optics of lenses, that means that these cells are actually viewing our upper visual field. There's an inversion of the visual image, etc. These cells are in the bottom half of your retina mostly, and so they're viewing the overhead visual space around you. These cells were essentially designed to detect sunlight, which is overhead, of course. So if you want to avoid improper activation of these neurons, it's better to place lights that you use in the evening low in your physical environment, so on desktops or even the floor, as opposed to overhead lights. So overhead fluorescent lights would be the worst. Lights that are overhead that are a little bit softer of the sort of yellow or reddish tints would be slightly better, but dim lights that are set low in the room are going to be best because they aren't going to activate these neurons and therefore shift your circadian clock.
And the other thing that's powerful is optic flow. So self-generated optic flow by walking, running, or cycling shifts the brain into a state of relaxation that's not seen when you're stationary. Well described in the neuroscience literature, for some reason it's not well described wellness literature, but it's a real thing. When you move through space, you're active, there's a natural calming of the brain circuits involved in threat.
Sunset. When the sun is also at low solar angle, low close to the horizon, by viewing sunlight at that time of day in the evening, these melanopsin cells, these neurons in your eye, signal the central circadian clock that it's the end of the day. There was a really nice study that showed that viewing sunlight around the time of sunset, doesn't have to be just crossing the horizon, but circa sunset, within an hour or so of sunset, prevents some of the bad effects of light in preventing melatonin release later that same night. So let me repeat this. Viewing light early in the day is key. Viewing light later in the day when the sun is setting or around that time can help protect these mechanisms, your brain and body, against the negative effects of light later in the day. So the best thing to do is just to get outside for a few minutes, anywhere from 2 to 10 minutes, also in the afternoon. Every cell and organ in your body needs light information. Inside of you is dark, inside your skin. There's no sunlight getting in there. Some animals, like snakes and other reptiles, actually have a hole in the top of their skull to get light information directly to their pineal, where to suppress melatonin. We don't have that hole. I mean, most of you don't have holes in your skull. These holes in your skull that we call the sockets for the eyes are actually there primarily to allow light information to this central clock.